It's that time of the year to make Super Bowl picks, starting with the NFC. Number 1, Minnesota. The Vikings are 10-3. Now, as I'm making this video, that could change after Saturday. They could be 11-3 or 10-4. But the Vikings are 10-3, first place in the NFC North Division, which means what? That they have another good team that looks like it could go all the way and could possibly disappoint their fans once again if they fail. It means that if they lose once again, then Kirk Cousins will get all the blame, which I think is dumb. Not trying to defend Kirk Cousins and say that he's had a bunch of stellar performances in big-time playoff games in his career, but I'm just saying, when it comes to blaming one guy in the team sport of football, it is dumb. So yes, the Vikings are once again looking like a team that has a chance. Dalvin Cook being able to stay healthy this season has been big for them. It gives them a legitimate running attack because he is a legitimate running back. If he can stay healthy, then that will be big for them in the postseason. Minnesota has shown that they can hurt teams by running up the middle. I think their offensive line struggles when it comes to pass protecting. So when they go up against talented defensive fronts like Philly or Dallas, they're going to have to play better and give Kirk Cousins more time in the pocket for him to throw. Obviously, Justin Jefferson continues to improve, and you're seeing more of that connection between him and Kirk Cousins. The Vikings, on some games, they get out to these fast starts, like the first 2 drives of the game. They're running up the middle, gashing teams for 5 or 6 yards. Kirk Cousins is immediately in a rhythm. Wide receivers are getting open. They're making plays. And then next thing you know, they're up 10-0 or 14-0. And then as the game goes on, the wide receivers have trouble getting open, and Kirk Cousins will make some errant pass or make some bad pass. So Minnesota is going to have to do a better job of pass protecting and not going cold as the game goes on, because they get off to these fast starts and then they go cold a little bit. Defensively, the pass rush is great. Daniel Hunter, Zadarius Smith. Daniel Hunter has 7 sacks on the season. Zadarius Smith has 9.5. Now, he's been quiet in the past couple of playoff games that he's been in when he was in Green Bay, only recording 1 sack and not generating enough pressure to get to the quarterback. Eric Kendricks, they still have him. He's a guy that is going to do a good job of getting to the ball carrier and tackling in open space. I think Patrick Peterson, he's been a nice addition for that defense, and they still have Harrison Smith. But what really has impressed me the most with the Vikings is that they've been able to make big plays in big moments throughout the season, and I think that is going to benefit them tremendously in the playoffs. They've been able to stay calm and execute properly, so I think that's going to help give them a lot of confidence in making a Super Bowl run. So the Minnesota Vikings is number 1. Number 2, the Dallas Cowboys. They are another team that is 10-3, but they are second place in their division. The Dallas Cowboys, once again, kind of like the Vikings, have a team that looks like they have a chance of going all the way, which means that they are also on the verge of getting heavily criticized if they fail once again. Dak Prescott is probably going to get a lot of heat if they fail once again. When Dak Prescott went down this season, Cooper Rush got a lot of the attention when he was helping them win games, and I'm sure that there was a lot of talks of, is there a quarterback controversy? Should Dak Prescott be worried about getting benched, and should Cooper Rush be the starter, and da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like, no, there shouldn't be any controversy, because Dallas is utilizing the run game heavily, and Cooper Rush is benefiting off of that with play actions and bootlegs. And not only that, he was making a lot of terrible throws. They just weren't getting talked about because they weren't getting intercepted. But when they played Philly that Sunday night, it finally came to light. Dak Prescott, he hasn't really been lights out himself. I think he is the same player. I don't really see any improvement in his game. I think when he is trying to throw on the run, the chances of him incompleting a pass or turning it over greatly increase. I don't think he has a whole lot of arm strength. He looks stiff when he runs too. He just seems stiff to me. And not only that, he hasn't really been taking care of the ball since he's been back. He hasn't really done a good job of taking care of the football. But with that being said, Micah Parsons in that pass rush for the Dallas Cowboys has been one of the most consistent things on that team. Leighton Vander Esch, he's been able to stay healthy this season. I'm not too big on their secondary. Their safety, Donovan Wilson, he seems to be more effective when he's blitzing, but I'm not too sold on their secondary. I think it can be beat. I think they can give up some big plays. If Dallas is going to help give themselves a better chance of making a Super Bowl run, then I think they're going to have to do what they did when Cooper Rush was starting for them. Run the football, utilize play action. Now Dak, even though I just criticized him, he still is able to deliver from the pocket. He can get into a rhythm. He is capable of doing that, but I think that Dallas is going to have to utilize Zeke Elliott and Tony Pollard. I think Tony Pollard is going to have to start. I think he's been the better back for the past few years now. Tony Pollard seems to be the more shifty and stronger back, whereas Zeke is kind of like that power back that goes at one speed in one direction. Dallas is going to have to stick with the running game, utilize that heavily to give themselves a better chance of scoring points, and the defense is going to have to continue to get after the quarterback and get into the backfield, and the secondary is going to have to play better. So Dallas is number 2. And number 3, my final pick, the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles are 12-1 in first place in their division, the NFC East division. They are probably the only team that I trust to come out of the NFC. Jalen Hurts has done a good job of delivering from the pocket. I don't think he's there completely. I don't see him as a pure pocket passer, but he has made tremendous changes to his game, and he has been more effective this season than he has in his first 2 seasons. He will be inaccurate at times, and he will utilize his legs. Philly utilized some running play designs specifically for him that can kind of hinder his growth a bit as far as being a pure pocket passer. But the fact that he has shown that he can deliver from the pocket, I think it's pretty good. AJ Brown, to me, he has been the best player for that offense. I'm surprised at how quickly Jalen and AJ have developed a chemistry between one another. AJ Brown gives them that big play threat. Then you have Devontae Smith that teams have to worry about. That gives him some one-on-one opportunities. And they still have Miles Sanders, and you know how effective he can be. Defensively, they have been great as well. Josh Sweat, 7.5 sacks, 11 tackles for loss. Fletcher Cox, 6 sacks, 6 tackles for loss. Brandon Graham, 8.5 sacks, 9 tackles for loss. Hassan Reddick with 10 sacks and 7 tackles for loss. And each of them have multiple hits on the QB. So that defensive front has been wreaking havoc all season long. I like their front 7. I think they have the best secondary in the league. I think they're very good at making a play on the ball and being aggressive. They have shown that they can have very good timing when it comes to making a play on the ball. But the only thing that worries me about this defense so far is that they have been punched in the mouth on the ground a few times this season. And when they go up against teams like, if they go up against teams like Minnesota or Dallas, teams that can run the ball, that could be a problem for them. But I think Philly just has too much though. With that being said, I don't think that will hurt them too much because I think they have just too much going for them. So we'll see. So Philly is number 3. And I know that whoever comes across this video, someone is probably going to be like, what about the Niners? What about the San Francisco 49ers? I'm not sold on Brock Purdy just yet. He's only had 3 games and he looked okay against Seattle. He had a good, bad, and ugly performance against Miami. And against Tampa, he was good, but I'm not sold on Brock Purdy because he's only had 3 games. And I know that the media, especially ESPN, is overhyping this dude. He's going to take over the NFL. He's already proven that he can be an MVP candidate even though he's only played 3 games and just all the hype, all the stupid hype and the hoopla. It's only 3 games. I'm not sold just yet. So on my last video, someone left a comment asking if I could give him a shout out for his YouTube channel. Please go follow Yo Boy Grizz. I'll leave a link to his channel in the description, and you can follow him at that it's not a Twitter handle, but it's some kind of YouTube handle at subgoalless1k. So please go follow Yo Boy Grizz at subgoalless1k, and I will leave a link to his YouTube channel in the description. So please like and subscribe. That is it. I am out.